All right. Okay. We are recording. We are good to go. So you guys, tonight, I was thinking, Mike and I were talking, we were thinking about, his mom's story. Some of you have heard us share it, and just talking about the promise of this opportunity, not where we're at now, not what we're experiencing with our businesses now, but what this opportunity can be for you. And so that's kind of, we shifted our focus, and that's what we want to discuss with this training tonight. So, if you don't know, Mike and I both do this full time. We have had just our 3 daughters out of all 7 kids. We've had just the 3 girls here for the past week and a half. And, just having that time, we live in Florida. So, if we worked like a normal job, we would have been working through the girls being here. And this week would have been very different. And while we were driving around today, going to the beach, I was telling Mike, he made some comment about people on vacation down at the beach. Everyone's kind of crazy and they just, party on vacation. And I'm like, well, Mike, we got to remember that not everybody's lives are like ours. Most people work a full-time job. They work nights, they work weekends, all the things. And then when they do get a break and they're on vacation, they're like, oh my God, they go wild. They have no schedules. They have no responsibilities. And so most people don't get to experience what many of us do. And that's true time and financial freedom because of this opportunity, because of our businesses. And so, even just Mike and I, while we've been at It Works for about 2.5 years, we've both been in other companies. He's done this for 20 plus years. So it didn't, this success, everything we have in our businesses right now didn't happen overnight. And so that's what I really want to talk to you guys about tonight. And we're going to hear from, Mike, we're going to hear from Tracy Fisher and, people who have been in the industry for a long time. And I want you guys to truly grasp. I know it's so hard to see where your business is at sometimes, and your business isn't where you want it to be. It's not moving as fast as you'd like it to. Maybe your distributors aren't moving as fast as you'd like them. Your income's not where you want it to be. Maybe you hit a rank and then you lost it. All those things. And it's really easy to get caught up in that. And it's really hard, the saying, you can't see the forest through the trees. It's really hard to get into that mindset in the right now, part of your business, where right now your income might not be where you want it to be. Right now, you might not be a triple diamond or a presidential diamond. Heck, right now you might not even be a ruby or an emerald. And right now you're looking at that and you're getting anxious and frustrated and you're getting discouraged. And I want you guys to shift your thinking to not right now anymore, to what happens in 2 years, what happens in 5 years, what happens in 10 years. So if you do that, what's going on right now is so small compared to what can happen. And so for us, I was in other companies. I did not have success in other companies. I did not have the supportive teams that I was desiring. I didn't have the leadership. I didn't have any of that in the other companies I was in. And while I learned a lot along the way from the other companies we've, been involved in, I didn't really have success. And when we came here, I said no for 6 months. I drug my feet for 6 months. I didn't want anything to do with this for 6 months. I liked that, Mike was excited and we were making money and that was great, but I couldn't get out of my own way. And so I look back and I'm like, man, if I would have started 6 months sooner, imagine where, we have the 2 positions. Imagine where our second position, where I focus most of my energy, imagine where that position could be. And I know many of you have felt that way. You either got a slow start or, maybe you joined months ago and you haven't fully taken off yet. And I want you to walk away from tonight thinking, okay, it doesn't matter what happens in the next 2 years of my business. What matters is what happens in the next 10 years of my business. So drop a 1 in the comments of the chat if you felt that way, if you've ever been discouraged in your business, if you felt like your business isn't moving as fast as you'd like it to, or, you're not where you want to be, or you're going to give up, or maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe they were right. Maybe I'm not good at this. I am seeing so many 1s. I'm seeing so many 1s in the comments here. Okay, now let me ask you a different question. How many of you can truly, truly close your eyes and envision what your life looks like? Actually, we're going to do this together. Close your eyes and envision what your life looks like in 10 years. From the business to the house you have, to the car you have, to what your team looks like, to how many lives you're changing. Close your eyes for a minute and just think about that. You know, what does that look like for you? And then drop a 2 in the comments if when you close your eyes and you envision your life, if you saw yourself where you want to be with It Works. If you could envision yourself being successful here with It Works. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of 2s in the comments. So that's what I want you guys to hold on to when you're having a bad day, when you're having a slow month, when your host to posts are dry, when nobody's responding, when you're getting told no left and right. Don't let that discourage you. Don't let that get you down. Don't say, oh my God, my check is lower this month than it was last month. I was a diamond last month and I barely requalified Ruby this month. When you have those moments, I want you to take a pause, close your eyes, and picture where you want to be in 10 years. Because that's why we're truly doing this. That's why we're truly here. We're not here to make a little bit of right now money. We're not here just to make, you know, a little bit of money for the next few months. We're here to truly change our families' lives. We're here to truly leave legacies for our families. So I'm going to share a quick story with you, and then I'm going to bring Mike on to really go, you know, in depth into his mom's story. But those of you that don't know, Mike's parents had been in network marketing. I think they started in like the 60s. He'll get into all that. But, you know, they worked with legends like Larry Thompson and Jim Rohn and Bill Bailey. That's, you know, that's what Mike grew up with. So that explains Mike a lot. A lot of you guys might laugh in the comments, but that'll help you understand Mike a little more. But he truly grew up in network marketing. And he came home from, I think, the military, and his brother for Christmas had sponsored him into their first company. And so literally Mike went to college for a week and dropped out and focused on network marketing. And so that shows you anyone can do this. You don't have to have any kind of background, any kind of degree. And he's been doing this for over 20 years. And so if you don't know, you know, Mike's mom passed away on Friday, and she'd been sick for a long time. So it wasn't a shock, but it was a shock. And so we've really been reflecting this last week and, you know, honoring her, watching her favorite movies, eating her favorite desserts, spoiling our girls because she just was the most loving person and spoiled everybody. And, you know, we've really been reflecting on what this industry has done for her and what she built through network marketing. And so a couple of years ago, one of Mike's best friends passed away suddenly from a brain aneurysm. Just, I mean, like that. Walked into the hospital, walking and talking. 30 minutes later, he was brain dead and gone. And that was a really, really tough time for his family. What was even tougher was 30 days later, his position was replaced at his job. His position was replaced at his job. 30 days later, his paychecks weren't coming in. His wife had to figure out what she was going to do while she was trying to grieve her husband and all these things. And that is typical life. That is normal life for most Americans. Okay. So that's what we all think. Like, you know, we get older and we pass away and we might leave a house or some things or some kind of inheritance or something to our kids, but we're not truly passing down a real legacy. But then if you look at Mike's mom, you know, she's barely worked her business, and Mike will give you like the real story. I'm going to give you the highlights here, but she barely worked her business. She was retired in for like 15 years. So she hustled hard for about 20 years. She was retired for 15 years in an assisted living center, making 6 figures in her retirement. Okay. She just passed away, you guys. And that business isn't just she's not going to get replaced in 30 days. Her business isn't just going to go away. Her business is going to get willed down to her children. I don't know how that works. It's a trust, whatever. But I want you guys to follow me on that. Her 6-figure business is now going to be passed down to her kids, to Mike and his siblings and grandkids. I don't know, however she left her will, who she left it to, but wrap your heads around that for a minute. In corporate America, typically when you pass away, you die, something happens, everything you worked for is gone, right? You might have a retirement, you might have some of that, but your monthly income is gone. But in network marketing, you build this, if you build this for the next 20 years, think about the residual income that you can pass on to your children and your grandchildren. Think about that legacy that you are truly leaving for your children and your grandchildren. Drop a 1 in the comments if that's what you want to leave behind for your family. If you want to truly leave a legacy for the hard work that you did, you're going to work anyways. The time's going to pass anyways. So you can work it at a job that when you retire, you're gone, never to be thought of again. Or you can build a business like this that, my gosh, she spent the last 15 years of her life living life, loving on her grandkids, loving on her kids, spoiling her family, and not worried about, is the money going to run up? Is my social security going to go away? Is this? She had built a legacy and got to truly enjoy life. And that is why we are all here. And that is what we all need to remember on our toughest days, our toughest months, when we're really discouraged. Think about the 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan of building this business and how it can truly change your life. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear from the guys tonight and hear just their experience in the industry, hear their stories. Both Mike and Tracy have been in the industry for a very long time. They've made great money. I'm sure they've both had great months. They've both had awful months. They've had ups and downs, and that comes with the territory. You're going to have that happen no matter what job you're in, no matter what company you're in, no matter what you're doing. But here, you guys, even on our bad months, we still are growing personally. We're surrounded by positive people. We have a team of people praying over us, praying with us, supporting us, lifting us up. And everything you're doing is building up to take care of your family for generations. So I hope that was inspiring for you guys. I hope you guys all stick around to hear these stories, because I'm really excited for you to hear these. But Mike and I are going to tap out here, and I'm going to go wrestle our little gremlin to bed while the guys share some nuggets with you guys.
All right. Hey, guys. Good evening. And Brandy did an awesome job kind of laying out a very inspirational conversation going on tonight. And I want everyone to know too, I've been celebrating, as we all do when it comes to, I'm going to flip this on you guys real quick. This is on Brandy mode right now. There we go. All right. So what's exciting about what she shared tonight is that this is what we do. And I love the very beginning of my mom's story. I want to share with you. Back in the 60s, she joined her first company, which was Tupperware. You might have heard of it, Tupperware. And that was a big company back in the 60s. A lot of the moms would take all of their kids to in-home parties part-time. Okay. And I was one of those, literally growing up. If you look at our family's history, we grew up in in-home meeting environments. So when they started with Tupperware, that was kind of their first experience. So lesson number 1, realize that in our industry, which has been going on for decades and decades, that back in the 60s, back in the 70s, and today, there are moms all over the world that will conduct any type of meeting, online, offline, to make extra money, to buy the products or to sell the products that they want or need. So that one dynamic has never changed. They got involved with some companies that did really well. And the company that my mom retired from, I'm going to tell you part of this story, because there's some big lessons in it, for all of us as we look at the long term. Because Brandy did an amazing job sharing, building a legacy, and building it for your last name, building it for generational wealth. And I want you to write this down. What we learned, what my family was taught by people like Larry Thompson and Jim Rohn and Les Brown, even before I was born, they were teaching the same principles that we talk about today, because it's passed on. And it's all about building generational wealth. If we got anybody that needs to mute, We got a few. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. Okay, I think we're good now. What was exciting about this when I started to think about it is that it's about that generational wealth. So write this down. We want to be victors, okay, when it comes to generational thinking and generational wealth. We don't want to be victims. We want to be victors. We want victory, okay? And part of what we're doing, and Brandy did a great job, we all have good days. We all have, great weeks. We have good months, good quarters, bad years, great years. It doesn't matter what we do to build our generational wealth. All of that's going to happen. You're going to enjoy some type of ride, no matter what ride you're on. So the one thing we learn is that over time, the most successful people, okay, in families in this industry is they find, okay, their primary company, their home base where they plant their flagpole in. This is a fact. You can do your own research, but don't waste your time. They plant their flagpole and they build the business long term. And they get through all the seasons. I can remember when my mother told me why they chose the company they retired with. The company had been around for over 20 years when they joined in the early 90s. Very successful company even today. It used to be called Prepaid Legal. It's called Legal Shield today. Amazing company, long-term legacy company. However, in my parents' first year of that company, the company ran out of money. Nobody knows this story, okay? When the CEO of that company said to a group of 250 pioneers in that company and said, we cannot pay commissions this month, and they had to borrow money, and then they eventually went public and everything was fine and their customers caught up and the business eventually worked out. But the reason my mother stayed is because they were honest, they were transparent. She believed in the long-term mission, and they joined the company to add on and build generational wealth. So we're all going to have those ups and downs. And when it comes to where your crossroad comes, or the bad day comes, or the bad week, or the bad month, okay, it's a choice of how your attitude is going to keep you in the game. And so when I look at the history of that, and I look at, they had every excuse, they could have made every excuse, they could have taken every excuse, but they already made a decision. So all of you, you've made a decision for your business. I love that lesson from my mom because, she was raised in Brooklyn. Part of her story, she was in an orphanage for 8 years, to the age of 16, without a father. She grew up basically on the streets. And she found, okay, not just a husband and had 5 kids before the age of 30. She found network marketing in this industry as a way of life. It was a way for her to get ahead. She used to always say, write this down, a great lesson from mom. Network marketing is the average person's greatest opportunity to create wealth. And it was something that was shared for many, many years. Many years on different stages. It was written in books, but that was one of her favorite quotes because that's what this industry is about. It's about giving people, the average person, the best opportunity to get ahead, the best opportunity to do something big in their life, to no longer be a victim of generational thinking. I mean, listen, the things that they taught 40, 50, 80, it doesn't work anymore. Okay, the times have changed. In 2020, it opened up even more doors of opportunity. I mean, it was a horrible year, but you have to look at money still exchanges hands in times of crisis. You go back to the Great Depression. Do you know that more people bought beauty products during the Great Depression? And you think about that for a moment. In down times, people like to shop. They like to buy things to make them look good, feel good, smell good. It's almost psychological. So no matter what the time, no matter what is going on in the world, this industry thrives. It thrives, and it's thriving more than ever before. So when I look at that part of their history, they could have quit. They went on to build the business, and what you'll experience in this business is that, we have highs and we have lows. But the one common denominator that you have to wrap your head around is the long-term, the buildup of your residual income. because that's what allows you to own your time and financial freedom. That's why Jim Rohn always says time is more important than money, because money, you can always go make money, but time you never get back. So how do you get the best of both worlds? How do you get time and financial freedom? Well, you have to build something that creates leverage. What did they teach back in the day? The same thing that we teach today, we just do it in a different way. There's only two ways to make money. You can trade your time, you can trade your hours. And by the way, you should use this when you're prospecting. I've been using it for over 20 years. You trade time, hours, you get a paycheck. Sometimes we call it a play check, right? It's never enough, right? Companies will keep people in the game just enough to keep them in the game, but hard to get ahead. We work 51 hard weeks a year to get a 1 week vacation. People spend 6 months spending it literally to plan a 1 week vacation. So when you look at all those dynamics and you really sit back and understand where we're headed with this tonight, it's powerful what we do. And when you embrace that, okay, and you look at the long term, as you build this business, you're building your freedom, you're building your time. And over the years and over the decades, you'll find that it just keeps growing. It may not keep skyrocketing, but it keeps going. And eventually, your business has so much leadership and so much depth and so much momentum that is so far below where you can even reach anymore, that the business takes on a life of its own. And one thing I learned is that my mother was really good at developing leadership. She was very passionate. She was a compassionate person, but she'd put you in your place because she knew, what it took to get to where you needed to go. And it was a lot of personal growth. It was a lot of, if we want things to change, right, we have to change. And she was a huge advocate of personal growth because she knew that would keep everybody in the game long enough to get to where they want to go. So as it unfolded over the years, and Brandy shared, about 15 years ago, she retired and her business continued to grow. I mean, it wasn't skyrocketing, but it continued to grow. I remember when my grandmother passed away at the age of 92. What I didn't realize is that my grandmother ran out of money when she was like 80. She outlived her money. And my mother, bought her condo down in Pompano Beach from her network marketing commissions. And she was able to take her Social Security, which she literally laughed at in her retirement days, because she'd always say, I don't know how a large family is going to survive off of this. But she gave it to my grandmother. You see, when you build generational wealth, when you do that for your family, guess what happens? You're now teaching your children and your children's children. And you can see that in our case as a family, because it's not only created, it's not so much generational wealth that we get excited about. I look at the fact that we have generational personal growth. We're not going to stay victim, right, to everything that was taught. We're going to be victorious. We're going to have victories, right? We change, we become curse breakers in this business, because there's not many people. If you look at a lot of businesses today, you don't just walk into corporate America and they're high-fiving you, telling you to set your goals, right? Or let's work on our relationship as couples, right? There's a lot of couples in this industry. Let's read a book. How many of us are reading books in this environment? And so one thing my mother taught over the years, and I've shared this many times, is that your commissions become a side effect of becoming just a better person. And once you wrap your head around that, and once you get that just laser focused on you, this is all about you. It's the understanding that all of your solutions to everything in your life are in the mirror. That's what we teach in this business. Do we help each other? Do we work together? Do we, at some point, we used to all travel together and do events together, and I'm sure that day is coming again. But all of that collectively is that personal development. It's that community. You travel to places you never would have traveled to. Some of you have relationships, and you're on this Zoom together. You have relationships. You can't even put a value on those relationships. And I'm going to introduce Mr. Tracy Fisher here tonight, a gentleman that I actually knew from my first company many, many years ago. And again, part of the history and the heritage of legacy companies. And there are many great companies in our industry. We just happen to be in one that is, at that perfect time, that position in the company history that we're excited about, with international growth, with new products, and just the fact that this company is very unique. So when you look at the industry as a whole, you've got people like Mr. Tracy Fisher. You've got people like Jared Wilkins and Portia and Brandy and so many other leaders that are on this call here tonight. Everyone has the same opportunity, and we can take the money that we all want to make, and I know we all want to pay bills off and be debt free, and that's what we work for as well. But the bigger part of what we do is addressing that personal growth. And so your commissions become a side effect of what you do to grow as a person. The people that you meet, you can't put a value on those relationships, the things that you're doing and learning and becoming, reading books. Some people have not read books in years. Some people have not spent an hour in a decade setting a goal. I mean, I meet these people all the time, and it's refreshing because they get excited because now they've been invited to something that's positive. It's influential in their life. It's the law of attraction, and it's tough though, because when people make a decision to take a leap of faith, to make a change in their life, to go out and do something big, the biggest challenge they have is themselves, because they have to face fears and they have to, conquer some demons. They have to step out of their comfort zone. They have to talk to people that they're not even sure if they like them, right? We all have family and friends, and we know that some are so excited to see us succeed, and many are excited to see us fail. It's the nature of the beast. But you know what? It goes with the territory. What you make a decision. When I look at my mom's life, a great story and tribute tonight for all of you is when you circle back to what Brandy said at the beginning for your family. Remember what I said. This is about you. It works, and this team, this is a vehicle that you decided to get in. You jumped in. You're here. We're all working together. It's a vehicle to get us to where we need to go. And if you want to speed it up, if you want the afterburners to come on, okay, then pay attention to what I'm saying. Is it's the best thing you can hear tonight is focusing on you. 100%. That's what my mother taught. And when you do that, you make those decisions. You make a real commitment. It's like getting married. It's like being in a real relationship with somebody. You're not just going to say, hey, let's try this out for a few months. Nobody wants to be in that type of relationship, right? You can't just go out and start a business, right? You can't go buy a Wendy's franchise and try it out for 90 days. You got to have the business mentality. And some of you know where I'm going with that, because people will join your business. Emotionally, they're all wrapped up in why they want to build a business, why they want to pay off debts or fire their boss or whatever it is. And then they quit because they don't have a major investment. That's why what I do with people is I try to get them to tell the world what they want to do. Shout it from the rooftops. Go live on Facebook. Make that personal phone call. Let people know how serious you are about your business, as if you wrote the check to buy that Wendy's or McDonald's or whatever franchise, because we know the amount of money that it costs. So we've got to take the business seriously. That was another side effect, okay, of understanding how to build a long-term business. So, I look forward to hearing from Mr. Tracy Fisher tonight, because this is another legacy story. Somebody who's been in the industry for a long time. I meet people all over the world, and you hear their stories of why they get involved. In fact, for some of you that are working with maybe your local groups, or you jump on, the small Zooms, maybe team huddles or whatever you call them, let me share with you one of the greatest trainings you can do. Go around the room and ask everybody how they joined. What got them involved in network marketing? What got them involved with It Works? Why did they join? It's the greatest training in the world. So we're going to start that way tonight with Mr. Tracy Fisher. And what an awesome couple and team. And the one thing I love about you, Tracy, is that, you just have this aura about you. And I've heard you train a million times, and we've been on a ton of Zooms together, but, just a very dedicated, passionate person. And you've always got just such a positive attitude. And I know you're a lot like me. We're a bit old school, We're trying to learn the new school. We're trying to learn how to blend in the social media world because we all keep fumbling a little bit. But, you know, again, our heritage, our history together coming from a great company many years ago and just understanding the power of that. But first, Tracy, if you don't mind sharing with everybody a little bit about your story and, you know, anything else you want to share here tonight, we're looking forward to it. I guess I may have to unmute you. Hold on. I think you're there now.
Can you hear me, guys?
Hey, now we can hear you. Hey, Tracy, yeah.
Is that better? All right.
Yeah.
Listen, I appreciate you, buddy, for so much for even inviting me to share on the platform. Just some of my history, some of the things that we've learned. But I'm gonna also do. I'm gonna go a little bit further because some of the things that I've learned, I've also have it in a PowerPoint, which is 2 slides on some of the things that I've learned. And Mike, I was listening to you talk about your mother's story, how your mom was in the late 60s, 70s with the great philosopher at that time was a great network marketer builder, Jim Rohn, who taught philosophies and things of that particular nature, guys. So for one thing, I will share with the family this here, guys. Just continue to stretch your mind like never before. One of the greatest philosophers is Mr. Jim Rohn. And the good thing about what we have on social media today, Mike, is all of his teachings are right there on social media for all of us to go back and learn and listen to. Okay. And so I want you all to understand that. And so I get very excited when I heard that particular story because you know Mike is very modest on some of this stuff. And here's what I mean by modesty, guys. His mom left them some money. Let's be real. His mother left them something. Watch this. He will forever remember mama. He'll forever remember mama. But isn't it a blessing to know that his mom left him something? Most people, especially Mike, in the African American community, when our family members pass away, most of them, 90+% of them, don't leave us money. Because if they did, ladies and gentlemen, watch this. We'll have a picture of them on the mantle. We'll have things around the house because of this person who left us something. Most of us, Mike, don't know our third generation grandfather. We don't know who that person is, Miss CEO, because they didn't leave us anything. And so, in a very humble way, man, that is so powerful. And that's the reason why we're here, guys. Listen, my wife and I, we've been married for well over 25 years. In fact, well over 25 years. It's closer to 28 years now, Mike. And I started in the profession, guys, in 1997 in a telecommunications company, in telecommunications. And now, if you guys can hear me clear, because my wife is saying she can't hear me clear. Mike, can you hear me clear?
There's a little bit of background noise, but it's clear enough.
It's clear enough. Okay, thank you, man. And so that was in 1997. But what many people don't understand, Mike, is that I went to high school, finished high school, but I started in college, but I didn't graduate college. I quitulated college. I didn't graduate. And so here I am, guys, at 25 years old. My wife and I, we're having 3 children at the age of 25 years old. So my wife at that time, Miss Panya, she was working for the Houston Rockets at that time. We were very young. We didn't have money, a lot of money at all. My wife, of course, was at the University of Houston, right? And accounting at the University of Houston. And so when I started in with the company ACN 1997, I was working in insurance. I wasn't on the insurance sales side. I was on the administrative side, Mike. I was on administrative. And so I was working my way up the corporate ladder. That's why I talk about that story all the time, because I was working my way up. They saw something in me to say, you know what? Let's teach him the sales side of our business. And so I got my Group 1 license. I was studying, but when I was introduced to network marketing, I was studying to get my Series 6 and my Series 63 so I can learn and sell mutual funds and annuities and things of that nature. And then all of a sudden, they said that a motion will stay in motion, will stay in that motion until it's interrupted by an outside force. And so that outside force just so happened to be someone that I went to high school with. We played basketball together. So he introduced me, Ms. CEO, to my very first mentor, my first mentor in the profession. Here he is in his early 30s, married with 2 children at that time. He had all the trappings of success. He was making residual income. He had the car, the nice vehicle, the home. His wife was retired from working. And so at that time, Mike, I saw my future. I saw my future. And I decided, guys, to make a long story short, to jump in that company very part-time. Ms. CEO, what happened was in my first 90 days in that business, without knowing what I was doing, but I had an excitement about myself. Without knowing what I was doing, guys, I became the #1 recruiter in that company at a regional event. At a regional event, they named me the #1 recruiter. I got the trophy, and I was like, what is this all about? And I had no idea, Mike, no idea what it was all about. And then, of course, the money started coming in. The money started coming in. Now, most of the money that we were making in our former company was a lot of bonuses. It wasn't the long-term residual income. Make a long story short, back in those days, guys, long distance service was close to 40 cents a minute, right? So we were getting a nice residual at that particular time, Mike, but it wasn't that long-term effect residual. I remember a guy named Gene Flynn, who was one of the top income earners, making $40,000+ a month at that time in the 90s. That was a lot of money, guys, a lot of money. And so he said, you know what, guys, because we started to see our checks going down, Mike. We started to see them going down. And I remember it went from 30-some cents to 20-some cents a minute, Ms. Panya, and it went to 17 cents a minute. He said, guys, pretty soon long distance is going to be free. And to make a long story short, guys, that happened. I spent 10 years in that company. My wife and I, we lost a lot. But I had a connection with the people in the company, the relationships that we built with that company. But here I am trying my best. And I prematurely went full-time, Mike, prematurely went full-time. Here my wife was trying to hold the family up with 3 children. She's working. She's just now starting at that time at Channel 2 as an accountant. She was trying to hold the family up. Ms. Panya, we saw cars repossessed from our family. At that time, we had a 4,000, almost 5,000 square foot home that we purchased because of the finances we made early on with our company. We lost the house. But the one thing I learned, guys, is that, and we had to leave and divorce that company after 10 years of being there. When I look at, give me 1 second, guys, give me 1 second here. So guys, if you guys can still hear me? Okay. So when I look at the company that we are today, where we are today, I understand what real residual income is compared to, especially in the health and wellness profession, what we have today. If I can encourage anybody today, guys, I know what a long-term company looks like. I understand what it looks like. When I partnered up with this company with Mr. Jared Wilkins 2.5 years ago, I was tired of going from this company to that company, Ms. Pam, from this company. I wanted something, Ms. Panya, that has some stability. That was very important to my wife and I, something that has some stability, that we can be like Mike's mom, stay there for 5 years, stay there for 10 years, 15 years, and be able to leave something behind for our grandchildren. That was important to us. Guys, what I want to do, Mike, am I able to share my screen? Can I share my screen real quick? I hope I can share my screen. Let me see if I can do that, because I want you guys to see this. Because this is what helped me as I was learning and developing my mindset from an employee mentality to an employer mentality. That was very important. So there was a book that I read, and it helped me tremendously. And so if you guys can look at this real quick here. If you guys can remember this, in the book, The Cash Flow Quadrant, look at this real quick. And we're just about done. We're not going to be long, but I want you guys to see this. I read this book like 3 times, Mike. And when you first get into this business, guys, when you first get into this profession, some of you, this is your first one, this is your first company. But the mentality that we have is that we have this mentality right here. Robert Kiyosaki did this, and this was an eye opener for me. On the left side of the quadrant, a lot of us come in as employees. 99% of the people that get started in this profession, they have an employee mindset. Nothing wrong with it, right? That means you have a job. Now, if you look at the acronym for job, it means just over broke, a journey of the broke. Now, the one thing about a job, guys, we understand that there's no leverage at all when you're working for a job. That means you're trading time for dollars. Nothing wrong with it, trading time for dollars. But pretty soon you're going to run out of time. You're going to run out of time. So what most people do is they say this, you know what, let me go and get a business for myself. And they become self-employed. So those are people who are maybe hairstylists, maybe people who have a lawnmower service, right? Or a hairstylist or what have you, right? They own a job. That's basically what that is, guys. So if you're on the left side of the quadrant, 95% of the population. So watch this, guys. So you're trading your time for dollars. You're still in that side of the quadrant. So what Mr. Robert Kiyosaki taught, and I learned this years ago, guys, is that network marketing allows all of us on this broadcast tonight to be business owners where we own a system. And that's what our company allows us to do, is that now we own a system. So we understand this here, guys. As a business owner, we have people that work with us, not for us, but in network marketing, we have people that work with us, right? In order to leverage your time. So what Mike's mother did, she understood this years ago. Many, many years ago, she understood being a business owner, being able to sponsor other people in the business and having the long-term vision. Why? Because most people are making linear income. And watch this, guys. As long as we are having that mentality of linear income, right? 95% of the people in our country today, 95% will retire financially destitute. They're going to depend on family, friends, and the federal government to take care of them. Okay? So we have to have the mentality of what we call a business owner. Now, once we build this, like Mr. Mike is talking about, when we build this together, guys, and it could take some of us 2 years. It could take some of us 3 years. It took me, my wife and I, right at about 90 days to go. Hold on one second here. It took us 90 days to get to the triple diamond level. But what most people don't understand is this here. Not only did I go triple diamond in 90 days, we also broke someone to triple diamond in 90 days. But watch this. What people don't understand is that same person 2 months later quit the business. 2 months later. So how do you think I felt? But here's what people don't understand. That same person who went triple diamond, he still had customers on the books. Even to this day, there are still customers on the books that pay residual income. That's the part I want you to get, guys. So you can build it up. Yeah, you'll have some fallback moments. We've had several fallback moments. But thank God, Mike, that we're in a business where just because a person quit who signed them up, the customer wants their product. Like Mr. Wilkins used to say all the time, and he said this all the time. Distributors are not loyal, but customers are. Okay? Now, here's the mentality that I also have, and I thank God for my business partner, Mr. Jared Wilkins, because now what most people understand is that when you have a residual income coming in, ladies and gentlemen, watch this, now you can become what's called an investor, right? The Bitcoins of the world. You can now trade into stocks. We can pool our incomes together, Mike, and let's say we own different, maybe an apartment complex, right? As we pool our funds together, Miss Panya, right? That's why the relationships that we all build together, I'm not worried about today. I'm worried about 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, as our company hits $1 billion, $2-3 billion every single year. Now, what I want you guys to do as I wrap up real quick, what I want you guys to do, if I was to give you guys $1 million today, $1 million today, I want you to, or if I gave you a penny right now and you double that penny, which one would you take? The $1 million, write it down in the chat, just chat it real quick, or the penny, which one would you take? Write it down in the chat. 1 for the million, two for the penny. Write it down. 2 for the penny. 2 for the penny. Because I want you to understand that some people have a certain mentality. Even when I heard this many, many years ago, my mentality, Mike, was give me the million. It was give me the million. But let me show you guys something in terms of the compound effect. How this compound effect will help each one of us understand that if we have long-term vision for what we can become, and it works. Not saying, there are going to be other things that's out there that's going to come at this team. There are going to be other people that's trying to pull you away from what you're doing. But you have to be totally sold out, guys, on the vision that we have with this company. You have to be, that's why, Mike, I was so fired up when you had Mr. Vanderveen on that conference call yesterday. Because if you guys understand what he was able to help Amway get to. Guys, do you know Amway is the grandfather of this profession? Amway is still doing $8 billion annually. Can you imagine where the vision of Mr. Vanderveen and his work ethic and what he's going to help this company do? And we're right in line to make that happen. Guys, let me show you something, guys. On day 1, look what happens if we give you a penny. Day 2, not very much, 2 cents. Day 3, 4 cents. Day 4, watch this, 8 cents. 5, 16 cents. If you go down to day 15, you're a little bit discouraged. This is halfway through the month, but it's only $163.84. But take a look at day 19, guys, $2,621. You're still a little bit discouraged. You're probably thinking to myself, you know what? I should have took the $1 million, right? Look at day 25, 167,000. Here we are, 5 days before day 30. I know you're thinking about giving up. I know you're thinking about, man, it's not coming fast enough. I'm tired of this little old $50 residual. I'm tired of this little $35 check that I'm getting. And some of you are mentally getting fed up, mentally, right? But look at day 29, $2.6 million. Can you imagine the people that have the microwave mentality who said, you know what, give me the million up front? But guys, take a look at day 30, 5.3 million. That measly penny double, right, yields you 5.3 million. And 1 day later, Mike, it doubles to over $10 million in revenue and income, okay? I wanted to do that, guys, because I want all of us to just stretch your mind, if you will. Stretch your mind, because we're in this thing for the long haul, Mike. I'm in it for the long haul. Guys, let me give you this real quick. This is according to the DSA, Direct Selling Association. This is what's called Consumer Attitudes and Entrepreneur Studies. Watch this, because if you think we don't have an opportunity, let me bust your bubble real quick. There's an opportunity with It Works. Now, Mike and I, we're the anomaly. Mr. Wilkins, I have a double diamond partner, Mr. Perry Beasley, we're an anomaly, right? But watch this. According to the DSA, 77% of Americans are interested in flexible and entrepreneurial income. 77%, according to the DSA. Now watch this. Out of that, watch this, it's even higher in Generation Z. So now we're talking the 18-year-olds who's always on social media, right? 91% of Generation Z is open to opportunities. 91%. But let's take a look at what's called the millennial generation. 88% of millennials are interested in extra income today. 88%. Right? 88%. That's according to the DSA. So do we have an opportunity and it works? You better believe it. You better believe it. Watch this, guys. Watch this. Last year, the profession produced nearly $40 billion just in the United States. There's money to be made. Don't think there's not. Even during a pandemic, there's still money to be made, right? 76% of this profession, guys, in the United States is still women. 76%. 24% are men. So you talk about behind the 8 ball. Think about where Mike and where we are right now with Mr. Wilkins. We're really behind the 8 ball. But here's what we understand. If our company is going to hit $1 billion, which they are annually and beyond, we understand the numbers. We understand the demographics. We understand this. Only 8% of this profession is African Americans. 8%. So my thing is this here. I got to continue to grow, Mike, and continue to attract people that even do not look like me. I want you to get that, guys. That's why I love this team, this United Nations family, because of the diversity that we have on this particular team. That's why I love it. Because I don't know about you, Mike, but I do not plan on building a team that's just all African Americans. I don't plan on doing it. But I also plan on being here, Mike, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Okay? And so, guys, with that, I just wanted to let you all know that, man, Mike, I'm excited, partner. I'm absolutely excited. I'm going to continue to grow as Tracy Fisher. Why? Because, Miss Sylvia, in order for me to attract the Mike Lemire's of the world, I have to become attractive to a Mike Lemire of the world. So therefore, I have to continue to grow myself, even through social media channels. I have to continue to grow myself. So that's what I want to leave you with, guys. Continue to grow and get better. God bless you guys. Back to you, Mike.
Hey, Tracy, that was awesome. I was just telling Brandy, she came out from putting Anya down. That was the perfect top off to the legacy training tonight, because, you know, it's so important. And I want to share one more thing. You know, in hearing you talk and sharing that powerful Kiyosaki, you know, breakdown, okay? And we were talking a little bit about, you know, just that concept before, because what we teach is residual income. What we teach is passive income. And so remember what I said before, a lot of people trade time and hours and they get a paycheck, but when you stop trading time, you stop trading hours, you stop getting paid, much like the story that Brandy shared of a good friend of ours that passed away in corporate America a few years ago. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes down. But when you trade time and hours and you build residual income, when you build passive income, you continue to get paid. So that is going to build over time. Look at it like, it's almost like, Tracy, a good way to explain it. It's like building like like an aircraft carrier, something built for the long term. This is not a race car engine. It's not going to, you know, you don't want to get involved in things that they're exciting, but they fizzle out like a wet firecracker in 90 days or 6 months or 12 months. And then you get good at starting over. And that's not a good thing to do. So when you look at the long term, when you look at the message here tonight, is that the legacy behind what we do is real, it is valid, it is bona fide, it's right in front of every single one of us. And tonight, I'd like you to, you know, take all this information in and just reaffirm your decision for what it is you see for you and your family long term. Remember, our goal is to become victors, like victorious, right? Victory in generational thinking and generational wealth. And so don't be afraid of the change. Don't be afraid of the adjustment that you have to make. Don't be afraid to put up, you know, some type of barrier in your life to keep those negative, nasty people. And they're all over the place. But remember, if you allow them into your space, that's your decision. So you have to keep them out. Doesn't mean you don't love them. Doesn't mean you don't like them. It means that you kind of just protect your house. That's what I call it, at least. We protect our house every day, even from family. If somebody in our family is really just trying to be a dream stealer, or, you know, they're negative, and again, you know, we just kind of steer clear of that, because we want what's coming into our mind is the echo effect. It's like a projector of life, you know. So if you let it in, it's gonna come out. You make that choice. But when you look at that long-term plan, that long-term goal that you have, remember all these little things that we talked about tonight with that personal growth and then the leverage. I mean, Tracy, you brought that home with the diagram, and also addressing us men as the anomaly, which is so true. But I will say this, you know, and for those of you that are looking to recruit men, or you have men in your radar, or men that you're talking to, you know, what's awesome is that actually when Tracy and all of us, when we joined, there was not a single product that I could, maybe keto coffee, that was really geared towards men. So I think what's awesome is that in the last 2 years, 30 some new products have been launched. There are several. So we do have a better product line right now for us to go out and kind of expand. But remember, typically it's going to be a couple, it's going to be a mom. It's going to be that, that power couple or somebody who's out there doing this in their spare time, part-time, as a family business, whatever it might be. So did you want to wrap up here tonight on your training? So you guys, thanks for listening to my mom's story. Tracy, thank you so much. I'm going to turn it back to Brandy and look forward to wrapping this up.
Oh my goodness, guys. So I only heard part of that because I was in there getting her to sleep, but jump in the comments. Tell me what you guys think of tonight. Tell me what your biggest aha was. If this changed any mindset, if you had maybe some mindset barriers that this kind of helped you get over. I'm going to read your guys' thoughts or your comments. I'm seeing lots in the chat. That's what I needed to hear. Awesome training. Pumped again. Yeah. So, like I said when I started this, and I apologize if I'm redundant, anything the guy said, because I was in a different room, but we all go through these phases. We all go through stages in our business, peaks and valleys, highs and lows. Mike and I have gone through it in the last 2 years. He's had to pull me up out of, despair about things with my team or my position or whatever over the past 2 years. And so you've got to remember to push through. You've got to remember that, even in your job or with your coworkers or whatever you're doing in your world, you're going to have days where your job is harder than it needs to be, or you're going to have times where you have that coworker at work that, every time you go in there, you want to punch them. Like you're going to have moments in your regular life, no matter what goes on. But the beauty of what we have here, you guys, I have to remind myself of this every day. Look at, you guys have been following my journey with my health issues. Look at what I'm my hair is falling out. Like I have all this stuff going on with my health, and it's stressful and it's crazy and it's scary and it's a lot. But imagine if I was sitting in a full-time job all day long, then having to deal with my kids. Imagine what my stress levels would be like then. Imagine how bad my hair would probably be falling out then. Or if I had to call a boss and say, I've been there. I've literally been there. When I was pregnant with Anya, I was working a full-time job and we were living in Ohio. I used to get sick all the time when we lived in Ohio, all the time. And I remember being 7 months pregnant and having strep throat and having to call and ask to work from home that day, even though I worked from home often. Whenever they wanted me to work from home, they let me. And I had to call and ask to work from home. And my boss said to me, are you sick or are you pregnant? You can't have it both ways, Brandy. And I was like, I'm both. Do you want to talk to my doctor? And then I kind of screamed at him and I hung up and I sobbed. And I said to Mike, I can't go back to that job. I can't do it. I can't put my baby in daycare when she's born to go to a job where they're going to say something like that to me. And I quit my job. And luckily we were in a position where, it wasn't the best move to quit my job, but we made it work. We're in a position where it was okay. And so now I look at all the blessings that we all have, the opportunity that we all have at our hands. And I look at my daily life and think, gosh, imagine how different things would be if I had to go to a job every day, if I had to ask permission from a boss. I've never had a job where my boss or my coworkers have loved on me and supported me and prayed for me and checked in on me and done all the things that all of you do. I've never experienced that. And I've had a lot of jobs. I've never experienced that. So I just wanted tonight to be that reminder for you guys of why we're here, why we're doing this, what our goals are, and that we're not going to meet them. We're not going to meet them right away. And even when you do, even when you make it, y'all, I went triple diamond and we had some people leave the team and some stuff happened, and I haven't requalified triple in our second position in a couple months. That's okay. That is okay. That happens. That is life. And the new wave of people that are coming in that are changing the dynamics of our team, they might not have come in if my business was on autopilot where it was a couple months ago. So we go through those things that seem big and scary or discouraging or a setback. We go through them to grow. And my team will tell you, even some of you that have only been here like 6 months or so, you've seen even the shift in me and my leadership and my growth just in the past few months. And I could be down on myself and sad, and I'm not triple, and my team's not working hard enough, and this isn't happening, blah, 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 blah. I could go through all that, but I'm not. I don't even worry about where my rank is at right now. I'm focusing on bringing in a bunch of distributors, bringing in a bunch of customers, helping my team hit as many ranks as possible. And because I'm here for the long run, because I'm here knowing that I'm going to hit presidential diamond in our second position. I know that we're going to be black diamond in our main position at some point. I see that. I can see it. I can taste it. I can feel the Louis Vuitton that's going to be on my arm when I hit presidential. Because if you don't know that, that is a little thing that we like to do here at It Works is you get a Louis, hopefully from your sponsor when you join. I don't have a sponsor, so I'm gonna have to buy my own Louis, but that's okay. I could go buy the Louis tomorrow. And I told Mike, you know what? I don't want to buy the Louis because I can buy the Louis. I want to buy the Louis when I hit presidential. And I want to make such a big deal out of it. I don't want to go buy it because we have the money. I could go buy it tomorrow. I don't want to do that. I want to make such a big deal out of hitting presidential that my girls all want to hit presidential so they all get that back. So stay focused,
Brandy.
Keep dreaming.
Brandy.
Tracy, do you want to come back on here?
Yeah, real quick. For those of you that are inching your way to the diamond level, right? Getting to the diamond level. We were on the diamond call today, and we were listening to Allie. Allie is a guys. I want to say she's an ambassador diamond. I believe Allie is an ambassador, and then Amber Parker. Guys, they were so transparent today, and I felt like, man, everybody needs to hear this. But of course, you have to be a diamond and above. But they were so vulnerable with their story. The amount of money that they've made, but they also made some horrible mistakes with their money, right? And I want you all to understand these, but they shared it from the bottom of their heart because they don't want people to make the same type of mistakes. Okay, when you're making the money, it's like what do you do with it? What do you do with this money? And when you have never made money before, right? Let's say 10,000 a month and it's coming in consistently, $15,000-$20,000 a month and it's coming in consistently, Brandy. It's like, what do you do with how do you manage that type of money? So for us, some of the calls that we get on, Brandy, from the VIP calls from triple and above to just the diamond calls, it's so much wisdom and so much transparency that a lot of our upper leaders are depositing into all of us, guys. And it's such an encouraging thing. So I saw when my partner, Stephanie Allen, said she can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Just understand, guys, that there are going to be highs in business. There's going to be lows, right? But if you're in the emergency room, always understand on that monitor, if you see the high and low, that is a sign of life. It's only when you see the flat line that you are dead. So as long as you see up and down, that means, baby, your business is still living. So appreciate you guys so much. Brandy, thanks so much for having me on the broadcast. I really enjoyed this one tonight. Really enjoyed it.
That was so good. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm glad you shared that because that is, Mike and I look back and we had some months in our first year. I mean, we were in the top 10 at one point in the first year, you guys. We had some months, literally a monthly income that was more than I'd made. It was more than my yearly salary, significantly more than my yearly salary in my old full-time marketing position. We made more in a month than I made in a year. And we talk now a lot about it that, when that money came in, we were just all over the place doing all these things. And now we're like so laser focused that we actually just were talking more about it today with a plan of, okay, everything that comes in outside of like what we pay our bills with, half is going to this account for this savings and half is going to this account for this. And so you need to be good stewards of the money. You need to have a plan with the money, because I'm glad you brought that up. It is if you are someone who's never made a ton of money before, when that money starts growing and growing and growing, it's easy to go out and buy the bag and buy this and buy that. But if you truly focus on paying off your debts, getting building up your savings, getting your family into a position where you're not living paycheck to paycheck, where you're not worried about money, where we went and spoiled the girls this week and did things we don't normally do and spent more money than we normally spend. And we were able to go do that and focus on our family and Mike's mom because of this business, because we've been smart with our money. In the past year, we've been really smart with our money. And so that is a really important thing to focus on. And, the more, because it does go up and down. You could have a $25,000 month, and then 2 months later, you could have a $8,000 month. And that $8,000 month shouldn't define your business. Neither the $25,000 month shouldn't define your business. This is truly something where you can write your own paychecks. You decide what you want to make. Now, is it easy? No. Are there months where you feel like you're running in sand? Yes. I've had these conversations and these calls with a lot of you, and it happens. And you always, 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 always want to be recruiting. You have to be talking to new people. You have to be using the products and talking about the products. Even just with recruiting, you guys, it's consistency. It's working smarter, not harder. I'm seeing that in the chat. I told you guys a couple days ago that a week ago, I hired our 19-year-old to do some social media stuff for me. You guys, my TikTok is blowing up. I had 4 applications filled out today. Now, it's not 100 like some people, but 4 is a lot for me. I don't typically get 4 applications in a day. I have like 5-ish potentials right now that are interested in the opportunity that I'm messaging back and forth with. I've done calls with some of them, and that's consistency. I could have said, you know what? I just found some stuff out about my health. We just lost Mike's mom. Our girls are here. I'm going to take the week off work. I didn't. And I've had a really good week, and I've stayed consistent. And so you have to really focus on that. And something I want to touch on too about the products real quick. I hear a lot of people say like, well, I'm not really, I don't use the products, or I'm new and I haven't tried the products yet. I don't know how to talk about them. Or what if I don't like all the products? Okay. The step with my health, my ND took away my keto coffee. She took away my slimming gummies. She took away my slimming tea. Like, she took away almost like 90% of the It Works products while I'm on this crazy elimination diet because of mold. Do you think I'm going to stop talking about the products? No. Do you think when I drink, there's one, like, I have to buy this crazy mold-free, pesticide-free, crazy coffee if I even want to have a cup of coffee, which I'm not supposed to have. And not that our coffee's not, we have amazing coffee. And as soon as I can, I'm going to drink that keto coffee again. But do you think when I'm drinking this crazy coffee that I'm not going to be saying I'm drinking my skinny coffee? Heck yeah, I am. So you can talk about the products even if you don't use every product. I am still going to be selling the crap out of slimming gummies even though I can't take them right now. So the biggest thing that we all have to do is get out of our own way with everything, with money mindset, with talking about the products, with even getting started. There's many of you that I either know personally, or I'm just going to assume you're new in this, or you're on your way to Ruby and you haven't fully launched your business. You might have baby launched your business. You might have done a few things. You might have made a few posts, but you haven't fully launched your business. You haven't fully committed and decided to launching your business. And if you continue doing your business that way, you'll never fully launch your business. You have to jump out of the boat, get in the water, and truly, truly give this everything you've got. I don't care how busy you are, what's going on in your life. Look at everything that's gone on in our life. Just in the past month, I'm going to wrap up with this. Since conference, I think I've signed 10 distributors. I'd have to look. The month is going to end with hopefully me around like 13, 14 distributors. Okay. No more toe tipping, Bonnie. Yes. just since conference, we have moved, we have dealt with mold issues, we have dealt with health issues where I might have something crazy like lupus. We've dealt with the loss of Mike's mom, having our 3 daughters in town for a week, staying in an Airbnb. The Airbnb has been a nightmare. Pet hair, dishwasher went out. Our outlets haven't worked in any of our bathrooms for a week. It's been a nightmare. I've had one of my best recruiting months in the past month in the middle of all of that chaos. Literally, in the middle of all of that chaos, I've had an amazing month. Why? Not because I'm lucky, because I've shown up. Every single day I've shown up, whether it's these weekly trainings with you guys. I'll be honest, I told Mike today, I'm exhausted. And we came home from the beach and I was like, I don't want to do a team training, but I have to because you guys need it and I need it. I need to get the feedback from you guys of how excited you are, how ready you are to run. So part of this business and leadership is showing up even when you don't want to show up. I have made my posts consistently on Facebook. I've talked about some of my struggles and how lucky I am with the way my life is now to be going through these struggles now as opposed to when I was working. I have chosen not to let life get in my way. I've chosen to share these parts of my life with the world, with you guys. And that's helping grow my business. That's helping me be viewed as more real. That's helping me show other women that you can do this. I don't care if you have health issues. I don't care if you have a bunch of kids. I don't care what's going on in your world. You can do this business through your struggles. And so many people let their struggles get the best of them. I've done it before. Drop a 1 in the comments if you have ever let your struggles get the best of you. I've done it. But that's a choice that we make. We make a choice to either let the situations we go through control us, or we let those situations help us grow, help us learn, and help us be better. And everything I'm going through right now is helping me grow, learn, and be better. And that's what we have to do with this business. So I hope that you guys enjoyed tonight's training. I hope this was powerful. I'm going to check the comments real quick, and then we will. Oh, they're up there planning what we're going to watch tonight. We get wild around here, y'all. It is the girls' last night. Yes, if we don't choose it, it will choose us. Pam, that's so good. We have to choose what we want to give our attention to. If we don't choose, it will choose us. You guys, that is so true. Oh, and our battery's about to die. Mike's sending me a quote. Hold on, he wants me to read you guys a quote. Learn how to say no. Don't let your mouth overload your back. That's good. That's really good. And, and as they told us, like Mike said, I'll end with this. Cutting out the noise and the negativity. You guys, I sent a letter to my mother in November. My mother is an alcoholic. I sent a letter to my mother in November and said, until you're ready to get clean and sober, I'm setting a boundary and you cannot be in our lives. And that was a very hard boundary to set. And it's the first time in my entire life I've ever set that boundary and actually stuck to it. But I did. And I will do that. I would do it over and over again. I would do it with I do it with friends. I do it with family. If you are not on the same mission as us, if you are not someone that is trying to better your life and better the lives of the people around you, if you are stuck in negativity and stuck in that just cynical cycle of life, I don't have time for that. I don't want that around me. I don't want that near my children. I don't want that around you guys. You guys will see, even with our team, we've had a couple loose cannons in our team chats and stuff, and we get them out of there real quick. We don't want that kind of energy around any of us. And we all I know Sylvia, those chips, man, she's making us all want some chips. It's all in the chat. Everybody wants some of your chips, girl. I had to read it. It was in the chat. We're all watching like, what are those? They look so good. Oh, Skinny Pop. We have that. That's so good. Anyway, so don't ever feel like you have to, girl, you're good. You're good. Don't ever feel like you have to apologize to anyone. You have to change yourself for anyone. You have to dim your light for anyone. Y'all, you are in such an amazing opportunity. You are in such an amazing space. You guys all have such bright lights, and you have to share those with the world. You have to, or you're doing a disservice. Sylvia, we didn't mean to pick on you. She's typing something. All right. I love you guys. This was great. We will see you guys all on the Saturday morning training. Accountability team, Monica, I know you were waiting for the color test. I think we'll do that on Friday. So if anybody wants to jump on our accountability call, we'll meet our accountability group for a few minutes Friday. We'll pick a time. And then we're going to go over the color personalities. So if anyone wants to jump on and go over the color personalities, I will put that in the main team chat. Make sure you take the test before then. It is in the team chat. You might have to scroll up a little. It's really good to know just so you can better work with each other, understand each other with your immediate team, find each other's strengths and weaknesses. Monica and I have really kind of gotten that down to a science. Our color personalities are complete opposite, legit, complete opposite. And so I'm great at talking to everybody, throwing contests out there, doing fun stuff, bringing in people, customers, all the things, but I'm not great at keeping organized and paperwork and this and that. And Monica's like, hey, don't forget that you announced this team training and you're going to end it on this day. Don't forget that that's what we've got to learn to do with each other and to do with your team, and learn how to use your leader's strengths where you have weaknesses. Instead of acting like you have to control everything and you have to do everything. I love when my team shows their strengths and helps me out when they see that I have a weakness. So, okay. Sylvia, I hope everything's, oh, she's gonna be at a funeral for you. Oh, girl, I'm so sorry. We're going through that too. We will pray for you. I'm so sorry. Does anyone else have anything they want to unmute and say before we log off here? No?
Oh, just what I said in the chat, that I like that we do these on Wednesdays because we get fired up on like Saturday and then we go through the rest of the week, and this gives us that push to like keep moving until we meet again on Saturday. So I just love seeing all of y'all. So everybody have a good rest of the week.
Yes, I do too. And I think that's so big, you guys, that the more we connect and see each other's faces, we have our videos on, and we, come together like this, the stronger we are. And I truly look at you guys as a family. Mike and I pray for you guys every day. Speaking of, we need to do our prayers before we go to bed because we forgot this morning. But we pray for you guys. We love you guys. And I feel like the closer that we all are, the stronger we are as a team. And I truly don't ever worry about like someone coming in and recruiting people from our team or this or that, because I feel like we all are so tight and so close that nothing can break us apart. And I think that's truly one of the super special things that our team has. So, all right, love you guys. We'll see you guys. I'll let you know on Friday who wants to join us for that color personality, and then we'll see everyone else on Saturday morning. Have a good week, guys. Bye.